Welcome to BattleTech in the Morning with Captain Nips. I'm Captain Nips, and today we go with the heaviest of metals in our quest for stomping bots into other stompy bots. So today I'm going to highlight another chassis that we could presumably see out on the battlefields of the Oregon Reach. And even if we don't get it included by default, or if it's not in the list somewhere, if it's not hiding somewhere in the Oregon Reach, it is a variant that is very easily refit into from the typical variant of the mech we're looking at today, and that would be the Battlemaster. Today's Battlemaster, we have the 1G currently in the list. The 1G sports a PPC in the right arm, 3 medium lasers in each side torso, 2 machine guns on the left arm, and an SRM-6 in the left torso. The 1D is a refit that was created by House Davion and the Federated Sons. As you can see in the upper right here, Federated Sons, they're reasonably close to the Oregon Reach, so we can maybe expect to see some of their variants make their way down into the Reach. What the 1D does is it strips the armament a little bit. It keeps the right arm PPC, and it keeps 2 of the 3 medium lasers in each torso. It drops the SRM-6 and the ammo. And in the place of all of that stuff that it dropped, the 2 lasers, the SRM-6, and the ammo, it adds a ton of armor, which I'll get to in a minute, and it adds 6 additional heat sinks to help make up for the heat that is being generated by the energy weapons on this mech. So there's a few things that I want to point out about this. So first, an extra ton of armor sounds great, but when you look at where it goes, it's actually not all that impactful. 1 ton of armor on a Battlemaster is not a huge deal. It's more armor, great, yeah. But 1 ton is not that much, and it's distributed among the arms and the legs. So in actuality, what you have is like an extra 15 or so armor points in BattleTech game, PC game terms, for each of the arms and each of the legs. 15 points is not that great, especially when you consider that none of that extra armor goes onto the torsos, which are the things that you need to be armored most to stay alive. But that's okay. Like 1 ton of armor, can take it or leave it. The loss of 2 medium lasers and the SRM-6 means that the 1D variant, the Davion variant of this Battlemaster, is much less punchy at short range with its weapons. On the flip side, you're not generating that extra heat, and also with 6 extra single heat sinks, you're generating that much more cooling. Your heat scale's much more manageable. So it's a little bit of a trade-off for slightly less firepower for something that's slightly more survivable and quite a bit more heat efficient, which I'm hoping we will find. Also, it runs about 200k C-bills less than the 1G, so it's worth pointing out it's slightly cheaper. The interesting thing about this variant is that it is literally just a refit of the 1G. The Davions did not, because the Davions don't have the ability to manufacture Battlemasters, at least at this point in the timeline, their 1Ds are a literal refit of 1Gs they've salvaged off the battlefield. And so in the campaign, were you to get a 1G with all of its stuff, and you decided that this is running too hot, I'm ending up in missions that are maybe on desert planets a lot, maybe I just want the extra cooling, you can refit the 1G into the 1D very easily. Strip out the 2 medium lasers, strip out the SRM-6, slap on the extra ton of armor, put in a bunch of heat sinks. Should be something that we can do in the mech lab very easily. Now, before I get started with this match, there's one more thing I want to point out about this specific game's implementation of these Battlemasters. I noticed as I was creating the variant of the 1D that the 1G variant that we have in this game is incorrect per canon. The 1G, as it is in BattleTech, the PC beta, has too many heat sinks. It has 2 additional heat sinks in the center torso that canonically do not exist, and it has an extra heatsink in the right torso that canonically doesn't exist. So, for the purposes of this video comparing the 1G and the 1D, I've removed those 3 heatsinks. This means that the 1G is going to run even hotter than what you're used to seeing. I would expect that the enemy AI using the 1Gs is going to struggle a little bit with heat. I don't know if Harebrained intends to fix this before launch. I hope they do. One of the things that I love the most about BattleTech is the mech designs and getting into mech labs and tinkering around. And it really, really bugs me when things are not, when they're supposed to be canonically correct and they're not. That is a pet peeve of mine that goes, it puts me in a place. I'll just put it that way. Let's get past that and let's get to shooting. So for today's matchup, 4 Battlemaster 1Ds versus 4 Battlemaster 1Gs at an astonishing 40 million C-bills and up on either side. I don't know what we're fighting over, but I hope it's important because that's a lot of C-bills to sink into one engagement. The sadist in me wants to run this on Death Valley to really, really lean into that heat scale issue that we might see as a difference between the 2 different types of Battlemaster. But I've been fighting on Death Valley a lot lately. I think instead I will take it to Alpine River. Not Alpine River. River Crossing. The not frozen one. Let's grab ourselves some daytime. And let's get going.
Commencing deployment. Mech warriors, prepare for combat.
Now, for a mech its size, the 1D on paper feels a little undergunned. A PPC and 4 medium lasers is not a lot of weaponry for a mech that size, 85 tons. And its alpha strike potential, where you fire all the weapons, does feel a little low.
Initiated.
Lots of trees. Watch your sight lines.
I'm hoping that I'm able to really lean on the fact that the 1D is that much more heat efficient. So to do that, I need to deny the enemy the ability to increase its heat efficiency by getting into the river. So I don't think there's going to be any fancy tactics here. I'm going to get myself down to the river edge, right in these forests here, and we're going to just start doing our work from there.
Yes, Commander.
So let's get moving.
Confirmed. On it.
What's up, Commander?
Everything's so slow.
No problem.
Battlemaster's not the fastest things on 2 legs. That's fine. No big deal. Generating a healthy 3 dots of movement modifier for that sprint. Once it hits the fan, I very much doubt you'll see many movement modifiers from either side of this engagement.
Standing by.
I want to split left to right. So I want to get Kraken down here. Let's see, what do I want? Yeah, we're going to get Kraken down here. Hold him up.
Aye, aye. Got a center train.
Here we go.
Commander?
Let's put Wildfire. I'm going to put her here. next turn I'll be able to move her up to the very edge of the trees. This is going to be a very, like, slog of a fight.
Orders.
Slog is probably being charitable.
I'm there.
Because the 1Ds lack the 2 extra medium lasers and the SRM-6, I'm a little behind in terms of total firepower being directed versus the opponent. So gonna be leaning on cover, gonna be leaning on bulwark where I have it in sumo. Yeah, this guy moves up and just covers. And it's interesting that this mech decided not to fire on me.
I'm receiving you.
So let's start. Let's see.
Aye, aye.
Sumo's got the worst aim of the team, so I'm going to start with him. Or do I want to start with somebody? Let's see. 70-50s is not bad.
I'm here.
She can get 70s. 80-60s. You know what? Let's go with
Order acknowledged.
Wildfire first and hopefully improve the odds for sumo. 80-60s is not the worst. We have engaged at the beginning of round 3. If this match is over by round 14, I'll be surprised. If everybody's going to stand in cover or brace, it's going to take a long time to chip through all of the armor on both sides of this engagement. Alright, we're going to get 1 movement modifier here. And now, because this guy has moved up and doesn't have cover, we're going to switch targets.
Affirmative.
Puts a PPC round into the right arm of that Battlemaster. It's a good place to do that. Headshot with the laser, also cool. We like that. The other thing that the enemy Lance has that I don't is that in having SRM-6s, they've got a bit more stability damage on their side than what my team can currently muster.
Ready for orders.
So, stability might become an issue for my team.
Moving to position.
Let's continue to focus fire on the first Battlemaster that was not covered.
Confirm.
95-80s. Shot to the left arm. Continue to chip through armor. Now, in a tactical sense, the one good thing I've got going for me is that as their mechs are going to be running hotter, it is entirely likely... Oh, Lord. It is entirely likely that at some point they're going to want to try and dive into the river, at which point I'm going to jump them and pummel them to death.
Yeah.
Because I currently have position on the river. And I intend to keep it that way. Set up my firing line here. This is beautiful. Can't ask for much more. Sumo's got 85-70s now.
Target marked.
We like that. Top of the order. Also, as usual, in one of these tests, since everything's in phase 1, you go, I go is the rule of the day.
Losing armor.
You're fine.
I'm receiving you.
So the thing I'm currently curious about is if I just stand here, how much stability damage am I going to clear? I hope I clear some. I hope I clear any. Because I'm going to make this shot onto this backline Battlemaster.
Fire.
Yeah, cool. We cleared some. Land with a few lasers. Chipping away at that Battlemaster in the front, or in the back. Don't go to cover. Don't go to cover. Ah, alright. Decided to get out of the way of all my guns. That's unfortunate. So let's continue to take shots at targets that are not covered. Maximize your damage potential.
Fire in.
Sensors impaired. Alright, PPCs cause a 2-hit penalty now.
Damage minimal.
Aye, aye.
Oop. Now we are in minimum range with the PPCs, so I'm going to want to back up a little bit if I can. Is that enough? Yep, 1 step.
On the move.
Just enough to clear. Ooh, and I can get our friend up in the tree line here. I'm going to continue to pour shots on him because eliminating targets is going to be the name of the game here. Got some good damage in on that left arm, but no crits.
Yeah? What can I do you for?
Let's continue to work. Let's see, just take a quick check. Yeah, this guy here, one in front. Continue to work him. Oh, it decides to go into melee first. Oh, and catches a knockdown on Kraken.
Damn it. Oh, I'm wounded.
Did not expect that. Fortunately, Kraken can get right back up.
Standing by.
So the question becomes
I'm up. Let's
40 and 70s or 95 and 70s with the machine guns. Heat's not I don't think heat's a huge concern right at the moment yet. Can I back up enough that I get out of minimum range? No. Alright, so the target's in the water. It's got 1 movement pip. I don't have to move out of tree cover here to throw this melee attack, so I'm going to go ahead and do that.
Roger.
Unfortunately, it's against a completely fresh Battlemaster, but that's a great start. Center torso with the melee attack. It's a good place to be. The enemy Battlemaster's not really leaning on their PPCs. Which is, I mean, what the, you know, if you're trying to conserve heat, that's what you do at these short ranges. Fortunately,
Waiting for orders.
my team doesn't have to worry about that sort of thing. Let's back up a few more steps. Get out of, yep, we can get out of the minimum range.
Moving out.
This guy's gone back to cover, so we're going to maximize damage by going here.
Target
This
locked.
might knock him down. Heck yeah, it does. Time to lay down the law on that guy with my remaining 2 pilots. So far, so good. Aside from Kraken's opened up side torso and the 3 injuries he's taken. Ugh. Gross.
Standing by.
Let's get Wildfire turned a little bit, because right now, yeah, she doesn't have a line on him. Let's get her turned just a smidge.
Order acknowledged.
See that guy down there? Let's see. We can go for his left torso, which is... Actually, left torso removes the 2 machine guns, the SRM-6, and 3 medium lasers from the equation. Center mass has a lot of... Yeah, what's the side torso got? 3790, so 127 damage to core out the left side. Let's go for that left side, because It's possible that I managed that.
Roger that. Target confirmed.
Crit the SRM-6. Didn't
Critical
quite
hit, Commander.
blow the side torso out, but I've still got Sumo to go. Oh, Kraken's right side takes a beating from the distance there.
Follow through. Internal damage.
Gonna have to. Can probably have to wheel him back now. Actually, I'm not sure. That takes away a good chunk. So that's a problem with the 1D. Because it doesn't have the SRM-6 on the left side and it's missing the 2 lasers. Losing that right side with the PPC and 2 of the lasers, it's got 2 medium lasers left. Which is not a lot of armament.
What's up, Commander?
Sumo, my friend, if you would be so kind as to turn ever so slightly and
These are in the chip.
plow this guy on the ground. Not bad. 57 structure left in the center torso. That Battlemaster's probably 1 turn from getting got. Oh wow. Alright. Rock'em sock'em robots. That's where we're at. Takes the shot to the leg. Kraken is going to return in kind. So here's an interesting thing about the 1D. That if you get any of them in the course of your own campaign play, see if you can fix with the mech lab. Canonically, the 1D puts its machine gun, so the machine guns are on the left arm, but the ammo is in the right torso. So having lost the right torso, not only did I lose the PPC, not only did I lose the 2 medium lasers on that side, I also lost the ability to fire the machine guns. I don't know why. The Davian military decided to move, literally move that bin of ammo from one side to the other. If that is the way it shows up, move that ammo to the left torso, because for crying out loud. So, instead, we melee. And this actually has a good chance of just killing this Battlemaster if I hit center mass. There we go. Kraken gets his. Tango number 1 is down. Oh, that guy shut down to make that attack on Kraken. Alright. We're in good position here.
Waiting for orders.
Well, let's see. It's got Apex,
Yes, Commander.
Wildfire, and Sumo on the right-hand side. Let's just take a quick peek at some of these paper dolls. Our guy in the back here is the one that's more damaged, so ideally we want to
Commander.
put some more work on him. So we've got an overheat warning. Finally hit that after 4 consecutive rounds of weapon fire. Let's just drop 2 of the lasers off. No reason to get too over hot yet. Cutting into the legs. Got 1 into structure. This guy is looking for cooling, and he's looking for an angle on Kraken.
Oh, Commander.
Oh man, Kraken's having such a bad day. He might just die to falling down here. Oh man, what a way to go. Failing the seatbelt check as your mech hits the ground. What a world, what a world. Sorry, Kraken. I don't know what else to say.
I'm here.
Well, I know what I need to do, though, which is turn ever so slightly and plow this guy. We're going to go ahead. You know what? I'm just going to pour in the damage. We're going to overheat on this a little bit because we need to really chip down this guy and get him dead.
Keep an eye on my heat, Commander.
So this Battlemaster's in the river, which is important to note. Because that means they're not getting cover. Open up the CT on that Battlemaster in the back.
Gonna puke.
Apex.
Yes, Commander.
Actually. Alright, so Apex is running hot. And this mech is now at 125 center torso. There is a chance if I move up on it that I can melee and machine gun it to death. It's also pretty beat up on, you know, some other sections. Not fantastically so. Really, game? You're only going to give me the one location to attack from? Right hand side. Yep. That's unfortunate. Because I want to get on the front and it's giving me the right there. So I think... I don't want to expose myself quite yet. So I'm going to back Apex up a step.
Move order confirmed.
Pointer guns at this guy. And let's take measure of the heat. Looks like we can get 3 lasers in there without the game complaining.
Firing on target.
Pretty ineffectual shots. Yeah, we hit a heat sink, but kind of...
Reporting critical hits.
Oh, and it was covered. Or it was braced. Ah, man. Alright, that guy's going to get punched this next turn.
Took a hard hit there. I'm receiving you.
Let's just continue to turn ever so slightly. Okay, so... Wildfire's running hot. Melee to the front side. I can take a step into the water and fire my weapons. I think what I'll do is I'll go for the melee attack. I think it's time to just start pummeling things. We've reached that point, ladies and gentlemen, in the simulation where it's just time to get ugly. Get ugly with the physicals. Enemy on the hill. This is gonna hurt. Alright, spread the damage a little bit.
I'm under heavy fire.
You're good. Sumo could make a run for physicals here. And actually, this is a little bit bad. This is not a great idea because this is going to put Sumo's back to the guy on the hill. But this is the end of the round, so I can use Sumo first next. The AI has only got one chance to use the mech up on the hill to attack Sumo. Hit to that arm. Come on. Oh, but we catch a knockdown. We like that. Unfortunately. Ooh, and machine gun crit.
Scored a critical hit.
Unfortunately, that means that the pilot up on the hill here is probably going to go first. Oh, no, I forgot. We're in phase 1. Knockdowns don't mean anything. So it makes sense for that guy to get up first. That's cool. Wildfire taking it from both sides.
I'm taking some serious hits.
Let's get Sumo out of there.
Standing by.
Something I can do.
Not ideal. Here we go. Alright, that's not bad. That gets Sumo out of the water. He's cooled off.
On my way.
He's giving up his right side to this guy up here, but he's back in cover. Unfortunately, we're at minimum range with the PPC. I'm still going to leverage it. Because if it hits, yeah, we were going to do full damage, but that's okay. Got a crit on him. The enemy Battlemaster's PPC. Wildfire's going down.
I'm losing armor fast. Oh. Commander, I'm hit.
There is a variable in the game files
Waiting for orders.
that allows your gunnery skill, or you're not your gunnery skill, your piloting skill, to be leveraged against seatbelt checks, which is the piloting check made when you fall down, to avoid that damage.
Back in action.
And I would very much appreciate that variable gets turned on by default when the game comes out. So now we're in a little bit of a rock hard place situation. But with this Battlemaster there and this Battlemaster here, I think... Can we get into melee? We can get into melee. And interestingly enough, I think this rock here might block line of sight to the guy up on the hill here. I'm going to hope this rock here blocks line of sight, because I'd really prefer not to get drilled in the back while Wildfire go punches this guy. Nice, straight to the CT. 10 damage left. Can we get there?
Scarred a critical hit.
We had 10 machine gun rounds at 3 damage apiece, and one of them struck the center torso there. And of course it didn't cover us from the rear. That hurts. We're gonna have to fix that.
Internal structure damage.
That guy's very aggressive with the overheat attacks.
Awaiting orders.
Apex has the opportunity to murder this guy. Gives up her back in doing it. So let's try and do this without getting murdered. There we go. We're just going to take a little bit of a heel turn. Give up my left side to this guy. Point my guns at this one. Don't need the PPC. So we're just going to fire the lasers and the machine guns, which should kill this Battlemaster. There we go. Machine gun ammo destroyed, ammo explosions, cats and dogs living together, mass hysteria. This Battlemaster number 2 goes down. Alright.
Standing by.
Wildfire gets an opportunity to move into position here. It's a position that puts her at not minimum range. There we go. That's the stuff. Move her down into the trees, turn around, and light this guy up like a Christmas tree.
Roger.
This guy looks like he's going to go for Sumo's back. Yep. You can take it. Not too bad. A little bit of damage.
Standing by.
Sumo, if you would be so kind as to move to a position that doesn't suck. That doesn't suck. That's alright. We're firing over this hill here. This guy's got 2 movement mod. But we got plenty of heat. And he's pretty beat up. Shot to the leg. Ooh, got both single heat sinks in that left leg. That's going to make things roasty toasty for that guy. And I still got one more mech to fire with. Everything's coming up. Cap nips. Alright. Let's turn on the PPC and check this out. Overheat. Take off a laser. Burn him to the ground. Oh! Headshot! That's for killing Kraken by knocking him on his ass. Punk. PPC to the face. Not as lethal in this game as in tabletop But sometimes you just get there with it. All right, let's go hunt down this last turkey.
Yes, Commander.
Wildfire's in pretty good shape in terms of guns and somewhat a bit of armor. I'm actually going to... Yeah, you know what? I'm just going to face up. This guy's going to be covered. Heat scale, I got plenty of it. So I'm going to focus
Come on, people. Let's
to
make it
eliminate
happen.
its cover.
Target locked.
Get this party started. Kind of spreading the damage around, unfortunately.
Aye, aye.
Can't hurt to take the river here. Apex has enough...
Moving to position.
I'm crossing my fingers that she has enough armor left. Yeah, she's got 81 on the side torso. 23 on the other side is not that great. But enough that we can leverage the whole shebang by using the river.
Yeah?
And I think Sumo is actually doing alright in terms of heat management. Maybe not. We're about to find out. Totally. Alright. Whoa! Sumo baby! The PPC shot needs to hit the Battlemaster, not the mountain behind him. Wow, crashing down into melee. And missing. We're going to make this guy pay for that. Although this machine gun bullets might catch a crit here.
I'm taking internal damage.
Eh, you're fine. Hey,
I'm
Wildfire.
receiving you.
Wildfire. 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 Can you murder this guy, please? We're not going to be able to get far enough away, are we? Well, nope. Not quite. Nope. At no point am I going to get far enough away. So let's just stand and deliver. Right to the side torso with that PPC shot. I think Apex, yeah, Apex is going to have
Right here.
movement enough to melee, so I'm going to have Sumo stand here and just shoot the guy.
I'm gonna make some trash.
Ammo explosion. Takes off the left torso. Now we're carving in.
Nice.
Agreed.
Oh, come on. It's like a steam bath in here.
And now I have left side on the Battlemaster for this melee plus machine gun attack, which is a real good place to be.
Attempting physical attack.
Because that center torso, this is going to hit probably mostly... hit some leg in there. That's fine. It's got one turn. Whoa, that PPC shot was way off. That looked like a Sumo shot. Not that it was aimed for Sumo, but in the way Sumo's aim is terrible. Alright, hey Wildfire,
I'm here.
can you just pummel this guy to death? Because that'd be great.
Copy that.
Take a step back, line up the shot, and... hits the leg. Machine gun fire coming next. Rat-a-tat-tat. And no more single heat sinks for you.
Commander.
Apex. Finish the job, please. There we go. And there you go.
Mission successful.
Battlemaster 1Ds take out Battlemaster 1Gs in a fight over the River Valley. Aside from the freak death of Kraken due to seatbelt check, in 12 rounds, honestly surprised, 31 minutes and 6 seconds, came out pretty good. Using the cover liberally got me through with only minor repairs to make on Wildfire, Apex, and Sumo, who looks like he is in pristine condition. He's missing a little bit of structure. We're going to need to weld that in place. Apex's Battlemaster beaten but not terribly damaged, and even Kraken's mech is salvageable, although Kraken will need to be cloned and re-educated. That's a shame. Death by seatbelt check. Oh my god. That's the best. The enemy forces, the 1Gs, pretty typical deaths. Find a side, exploit it, crit it out. Same. Get the lucky headshot here, although I was working towards side inward to kill this one off as well. So what's the verdict? The 1D, with only 4 medium lasers and only the PPC, giving up 2 medium lasers and the SRM-6 for a bit of armor and a bunch of heat sinks. I think it's fine. It really does lack the punch that the 1G gives you. At least with the 1G, you have the opportunity to alpha fire where it is convenient for you, and then back off of a full weapons load fire when you need to conserve heat. You don't really have the option with the 1Ds. It's kind of like you're firing everything, or you're firing mostly everything, but you have to because you're missing an additional, let's see, do some quick math. 2 medium lasers is 50 damage, and 6 by 10 is 60. You're missing 110 damage worth of alpha off of the 1G when you bring a 1D out onto the battlefield. It's a tactical play, I think. If you are running into situations where you are on hotter maps, where you need to be heat efficient, or where you do want that just ever tiny so slight sliver of extra survivability with extra armor on the legs and arms, then I can see taking a 1D. I think in a blanket sense, I would prefer to stick with 1Gs just for that higher alpha potential and the stability damage you get off the SRM-6s. Granted, that means you're juggling your heat scale, but that's nothing anyone that's played this game enough shouldn't be able to do. Is a thing you just get used to doing. So the Battlemaster 1D. If you're a little bit strapped for cash but still want to buy a Battlemaster and don't mind missing the higher alpha potential, not a bad variant. I'm a fan. I like it. I like it conceptually. I would like it more. I'll just throw this out there as a note to canon. The 1G, 2 of its medium lasers per tabletop rules are pointing backwards out the backside of the mech. In most BattleTech or MechWarrior games that are not tabletop, they flip them to point forward, which is a totally reasonable thing to do. But if they were backward facing and you only had 4 facing forward, then this compares a little bit more favorably. But that's neither here nor there. The 1D is fine. It's a good beater. It can get the job done. I would say if you're looking for a Battlemaster and you find a 1D and there is no other option, you would not go wrong grabbing this variant. It's perfectly fine. It's totally workable. And it kicks like a mule. So we'll take that win today, and we'll take that little bit of extra knowledge about another of the variants of the battlefields of the Inner Sphere. And that'll be all for today's BattleTech in the morning. I am your librarian of the mech variants, Captain Nips. Wishing you a wonderful day, wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, and night. And I will see all of you in the next video.